welcome back to Jacqs Scraps. Thanks for joining me today for another design team project for Country Craft Creations, and I'll be using Our Baby Boy by Echo Park. I recently released a video on how I created this adorable little onesie mini album, and if you missed that video, I'll have it linked down below for you. And this is going to a specific person, so of course I wanted to create a card, and then I also decided that I wanted to create a banner with the little one's name on it. So that's what we'll be doing today. So let's get started. To create the card, I'm going to run through all of the supplies that you'll need, and we're going to start with one piece of cardstock that measures 9 by 6. We're going to score on the long side at 4.5. So that will be our card base. You're going to need one piece of solid cardstock, or I'm going to use glitter paper, and this will measure 5 7/8 by 4 3/8. This will be our first layer. Our top layer will be from the paper collection, and this measures 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. So those will get layered like that. In addition, what I've done is use my Cricut and Cricut Design Space to cut out these adorable little images using the paper collection. Now, I did find a Cricut file that you can use. It is not mine, but I'll share the link of where I got inspired to create my own card. So I have these little images, and then you're going to need one piece of embroidery thread or string or anything that you might have in your stash, and this measures about 11.5 inches long. You're also going to need one sentiment for the card, and I'm using Hello Baby that came with the collection kit. And then our last item are these adorable little mini clothespins, so you'll need 3 of those. Now let's get started on putting it together. So the idea is to have our thread be like a clothesline, and we're going to hang our little clothes from there using the clothespins. So I'm going to attach my clothes with the clothespin and then onto the embroidery thread. I think that might be the easiest way. Just kind of layering them up together and then putting on the clothespin. If you want them to dangle down a little bit, then just be mindful of your placement. I kind of like that. That's cute. Now, if you don't have Cricut Design Space, but you have this paper collection, they have the perfect paper where you would be able to cut out images to use as I am doing here. They'll just be smaller. And keep in mind the spacing between. So I'm going to kind of put these up a little bit higher because I want to make sure my sentiment fits. So let's go ahead and add this so that we make sure we get it in the right spot. I just kind of line those up. Oh yeah, that works out really good. The next thing I want to do is put these where I want them, and I'm going to wrap the rest of the thread around the back, and I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive to put that down, and then I can actually cut off any excess. I think I want that up a little bit higher. I can rearrange those afterward. I just want to make sure I get them up high enough. This will be a pretty quick card. That looks good on each side. They're about even. And then now I can kind of move these around. I want mine kind of at an angle. Now you can put more than one clothespin on each of the clothing pieces, but I just think that would get a little bit cumbersome having so many of those on the front. I think 3 is a good number. Yeah, I think that works. I'm wondering if I should put the long one over here and the short one over there. I think you're going to spend more time trying to decide on where to put the clothes than actually putting the card together. Okay, so now that I have them where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess. And I'm going to just go ahead and add adhesive tape to the back of this. Because I'm using glitter, liquid glue doesn't always stick really well. So I'm just going to use this. Now we can add this to our glitter cardstock layer. And I only wanted a little bit of that peeking out, so it's probably about a 1/16 of an inch border. And now we'll add it to the base of our card. I'm going to come back and add a few more pieces to the front. Now to make this look more like a clothesline, I'm going to add these little heart stickers from the sticker sheet, and I've added some sticky dots on the back side just so that they stick really well. You could create bows and add those to the ends. I think that would be cute as well. I like that. And you could even use sticky dots to keep these in place, or you could let them be free moving. On the inside, I'm going to use the border strip here from the paper collection and put that down below. Just gives a nice little look for the inside. Okay, so that's the inside. And in the file that I'm sharing for those that have access to Cricut Design Space, there was an envelope, and I have cut that out and just added 2 little stickers to it. I thought that would be so cute to go along with our card. Now I'm going to share with you the banner that I created, and I used the first and middle name of the newborn. And I just wrap the yarn around the banner here. So here is how it looks. I really love how this turned out. And I'll just kind of walk you through everything, and then I'm going to actually show you how I put one of these together. So first of all, for the string, I actually used yarn that I had in my stash, and I provided a very long tail, if you will. Since I don't really know how they're going to be hanging this up, I wanted to make sure that they had enough to tie off however they wanted to, and then they can cut off any excess. So that's on both ends. Then I added beads in between each of the letters. The green beads were from some that I picked up from like Michael's in one of those large containers. And then I picked up these wooden beads from the Dollar Tree. That was from their Shore Living Wood Beads Garland. It was the one with the little sailboat. I love that they were square, something different. And putting these next to each other, I don't know, I just love that look. So I followed that all the way throughout. On the cardstock that I used for the base, it's actually a double-sided cardstock, so it's a dark color on one side and a lighter color on the opposite. So I chose this beautiful brown color because I noticed in some of the photos for the individual that this is going to is using more of a neutral palette. And so I thought this would best complement that. So I have my base cardstock. Now I use, it's kind of a medium weight cardstock, but very sturdy. And then on top of that, I cut out all of my little pattern pieces. I alternated them. I used the icon sheet and then the plaid and just alternated. And then I put that on foam adhesive to add it to the base. And you'll see that here in a moment when I show you how to put it together. On top of that, I added the alpha, which I cut out, and I cut all this out using Cricut and Cricut Design Space. The letters I got from a website, and I'll have that link down below for you. It is a free download if you sign up for her emails. And she has beautiful alpha, is all I can say, for all different occasions. And this one was specifically for babies. And some of the designs within the letters match this kind of boho, I don't know, style. So I used it for the girl as well as the boy. There is a little ducky here. We have a pacifier, a star, little feet prints. There's clouds. We have a little bear. There's even a little carriage. So anyways, I loved all of those images. And so I selected that alphabet, uploaded it to Cricut Design Space, and then I used the offset feature to create my shadow piece in the back. And I cut that out on My Colors Polar Bear cardstock that I picked up from Country Craft Creations. It's a beautiful, glimmery white cardstock. I thought that would be perfect for this. And then I cut all of my letters out on this foil cardstock that I had in my stash, and it had a pattern to it. I then glued those two pieces together, and then on top of foam, and then on top of the pattern paper. I had some rickrack in blue and green that I cut and added those here down at the bottom. And then for each of the letters, I added chipboard pieces or stickers. So this one here is a chipboard piece of a little safety pin. I did take off some of the chipboard on the back of some of these pieces, especially when they went over the ribbon, because it would have just been higher than the alpha, and I really didn't want that. I wanted the alpha to be the highest point on each of these little flags. So here I've added a diaper. We have this little toy here, and then on this one I just added this heart. So this is what one of the full ones looks like. Now I'm going to show you how I put one of them together, and then we'll actually finish off the middle name. Okay, I have all my pieces here. Also, I wanted to mention that when I selected this particular shape design in Cricut Design Space, it already had the little cutouts here on each side, which was really nice and made it easy to put my yarn through there. So when you're looking for a design, you may want to look for one that already has that in there. So here's my pattern piece. I've already added my foam adhesive to the back side, and I did add probably more than some people would add, but I wanted to make sure that it was on there sturdy and that it wouldn't sag. Now when I add this, I showed you these little slots here on each side. I'm going to add the cardstock right up to the top, but centered in between these two little slots. So I'm not going to go all the way to the top. And then I'm just going to place that down and make sure that the rest of it is spaced out as evenly as I can get it. So we have about 1/4 of an inch border all the way around, except for across the top here. Now for the alpha, we're just gluing this piece onto our offset. I think this foil was like a rose gold foil, so it picks up with the browns and the blues really nicely. And I've added my foam adhesive on the back. When I get ready to add the alpha to the flag here, what I do is line it up with the first one that I created. So I line these up, and then I take my alpha and try to line it up side to side, as well as to match the height that I have on this one. So after you get that first one done, it's best to use that as your pattern for the entire project. And sometimes I check it. Yeah, it seems a little low. And then I do the same thing when I go to add my rickrack here. I even kind of matched up how this would get aligned with the piece before it. Like that's a good match. So then now I know which way this ribbon should go. Might be a little excessive, but I want it to be aesthetically pleasing. And for this, I'm using Fabri-Tac. And then again, I just line these up and use that as my guide for placing this one down. And then the last thing I do is to add my chipboard. This is where I would take and peel off some of the back, because I'm going to add this one across the ribbon. And then we can add our chipboard. What I've done is added some foam tape on the top and the bottom, because I'm going to put it over the bottom of the L here. That way it evens everything out. And then I added glue there in the middle. So there is our final piece, really cute. I love that it's not a lot, it's really just enough in my opinion. We don't know what kind of decorations she might have, so I don't want to go over the top with those. Just want to have enough. So the next thing I do is I already have my beads here in the middle between the two letters, so I'm using one of these little threaders. I picked up a little case of these at Joann's. These are wonderful. I use them all the time. Okay, so I just thread that in there, put it through this side. And I have these strings super, super long. I'm going to be trimming these down. But I left it long to make sure I had enough room for everything. Now for these, I kind of put them to where it was like they fit perfect in between there. They weren't too loose. And then I come back through this side. And have that going tight across the back. Now we thread on our beads. Once I have them on, I do tie a little knot close to them. It doesn't have to be right next to them. Kind of gave it some room to move. I do that 3 times since this is yarn. Perfect. And now let me show you this one. This one's a little bit bigger, so it's going to be hard to get it all in there. And here is how it turned out. On this one, I added a sticker, but I backed it on a lightweight chipboard and then put it on here because I wanted to make sure it was sturdy and it wouldn't like wrinkle during transit. I did the same for this sticker here and this one. I added a little chipboard piece here, and this is a sticker, again, at putting lightweight chipboard on the back, and then we just did the L. So that's how that one turned out. I just love it. I really love the green. I don't know, I think that was the right color to go with. They're very calming colors, and I think it'll be perfect. So in addition to the banner, we have our adorable card that will be part of this package, as well as the baby boy onesie. So I am really excited to package up this little gift and send it off to the newborn. Well, that's it for today, everyone. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. And if you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos where I'll be showing you the boho baby girl banner and card. See you then.